Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here. I wanted to offer my thoughts on the start of season 3 of Picard. And so I've really been excited about this for a long time because it was sort of promised that this would be kind of the return to the next generation that a lot of people wanted this show to be. And I gotta say, even though the first two seasons had their high moments, low moments, all of that kind of stuff, I generally have enjoyed the show. I think in season 2, things got a little bit off track with the time travel aspect of it, even though that was sort of a core element of the story. But generally speaking, I did enjoy what they were able to put together from a storytelling perspective. So I appreciated that they were trying to do something new, but it did always kind of feel like something was missing here. It just wasn't quite up to par with what we've expected with Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, and sort of everyone associated with him in the Star Trek universe. So right off the bat here, Riker is brought back into the story, and you can tell that they're leaning heavily into the next generation. And there's a lot of things I love about this episode. I think in some ways it feels like an old school Star Trek movie. Like there's a bigger scale to this episode and to what we're probably going to get with season 3. At least it feels that way with this first outing or foray into the third season. So I'm loving that so far. I think the use of the music is great. And actually, if you're watching this, be sure to stick around for the end credits because they reintroduce the Next Generation theme in all of its glory. And I love sort of the, delayed title sequence that we get really at the conclusion of this. It's just awesome. It's a great homage. And I think this is kind of what this show needed, and it feels like it's building towards something great. So we've got Beverly Crusher here, Gates McFadden back, and obviously, based on what you've seen probably online and elsewhere about the cast, we're going to get a lot of other Next Generation characters. But so far, I think this is off to a great start. There were some interesting moments in this, though, that kind of stood out to me. And I'm getting into a little bit of spoiler territory here where Picard and Riker decide that they need to commandeer a ship somewhat illegally, or really illegally, I should say, from Starfleet because they get an encrypted message from Crusher that she's in danger, she needs help, and that's kind of how the episode starts. And really what's sort of propelling this season, presumably. But they board a ship where Seven of Nine is the right-hand person for the captain there, the first in command. So, there's a conversation where this commander just won't acknowledge really sort of their legendary status or really sees them as having been troublemakers and problematic to Starfleet and all that, which that's all well and good. But at one point he references something by saying, well, I've got orders from real captains and real admirals who are not retired, and they're way above my pay grade. And the first thing I thought about with that was I thought money was eliminated in the 25th century or whatever it was. That was sort of a big thing in the Next Generation lore. So I don't know if I missed something with that, even though in certain other elements of this show on different planets, I guess maybe not necessarily ones that are operating in the same way that Earth does, I would assume still within the Federation, that cash is being exchanged. But anyway, that was just a weird little nitpicky thing that kind of stood out to me. Beyond all of that, though, I really think this is a great reintroduction to these characters. There are some old jokes here because, Riker and Picard as characters have aged a whole lot, as have the actors, understandably, and the time that's transpired since The Next Generation was a show and since we got the movies. But it doesn't feel overly hammy, I wouldn't say. They don't lean into it too much. I mean, there is some commentary here and there that makes it kind of like we're old, but we're still going to try to get through this mission that we've got in front of us anyway. But I think for me, because I love these characters so much, I don't really care about that. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I like where they're headed with this. It feels in a lot of ways much better than what we got with the first two seasons, even with this one episode. Again, not that I hated those. They just were very uneven in a lot of ways to me. So I'm excited to see where this goes. If you've seen this first episode and you're equally excited about it and enjoying it so far, let me know what you think in the comments below. Or even if you don't like it, let me know what you think about that and maybe something that I'm just not thinking about. But anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I'll be back soon with a review of episode 2 once that's released.